So today I'm going to talk about how to go from 0 to 1 billion in revenue. And I am specific about making money. Who doesn't want to make money? Okay, no arms are going up. But when I told people to come in front, some people stayed at the back. So my name is Nick Kamanzi, or Nicholas Kamanzi. And I am starting a new company right now. The company is called SocialPay. And if you want to tweet, you can use that, that's Twitter. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, Nicholas Kamanzi is like my name. There's a lot of familiar faces. I am so grateful for people showing up. So I am going to start off with a small exercise. So how many of you are working on something? Okay, this is a very good room. How many of you are not working on something? By working on something, I mean like you have a product you're building, or you're in a team with someone and you're building, let's say, an app, or you have an actual business and it is working or it's failing. That's what I meant. So I'll ask the question again. You're working on something? Okay. You're not working on something? Okay, so for the 2 people or 3 people who are not working on something, are you like a student? Student. Okay, so a bit about myself. I went to the same school as Arthur. Arthur is in the room. I went to Busitema University. It's in Tororo. It's in the middle of a forest. Okay, I did computer engineering. Out of university, I built my first startup. It was called Yoza. Most of you did not hear about it. But some of you, like David, heard about it. And Yoza was like literally an on-demand laundry service. It was built off of like my laziness for not wanting to do laundry. It did very well for, I think, just 2 years. And it died because of founder conflict. I wish Solomon was here. This was going to be a very good conversation. So I went through that experience. So out of uni, I started a company. And then very quickly realized that you cannot eat a company. Okay? You have to survive somehow, like we usually say. And so I got my first job was, I was reviewing tech. You know, like you're out of campus, you kind of like know where Android is going. Those days, Android was releasing like new version every other year. So did like a PC Tech magazine, still around, but I was mostly doing the reviews. So my day job was to write 2 articles a day, 2 original articles a day, and I was being paid 300,000. And please note the numbers. So there's different parts. Like the first one was, I was doing Yoza on the side as I was doing PC Tech. First, you need to survive, and then you can do a startup, okay? Usually when you're in a different part of the world, and the reason why this is not $1 million or $1 billion, the reason why I've put it in Ugandan shillings is when you go to Stanford, you can get out of Stanford and get a VC to give you money to start a company, right? In Uganda, the reality is no one is going to give you money to start a company unless you have a rich uncle who is willing to not buy land and give you their money. And if you find an uncle who can do that trade-off, I want to meet them. Who is crazy enough to give a university student or someone who is just coming out of university 500,000 USD to go start their own company. No one is willing to do that. The other challenge we have with our ecosystem is when you're just at university, the way you are, no one is willing to give you money, okay? Because you've never seen money. I mean, maybe you're coming from a rich family, so you've seen that money. But for most people, for most Ugandans, okay, you've gone to university, your parent is like praying for you to graduate year 3, and then be like, my work here is done. You put the thing on their head. They're like, now you go figure out yourself, okay? So, but like if you come out and say, okay, I'm building this AI app that does this, changes this voice, it calls MTN customers, and they do this, and they do all these things. No one is willing to give you money because you've built a product. So you have to make sure you find customers who are going to give you money. So did PC Tech for a bit, and then Africa's Talking poached me. So when Africa's Talking was launching in Uganda, I was at PC Tech. I was also still doing Yoza, my startup. So, but I wasn't doing it full time. And Africa's Talking was like, okay, we are doing APIs. Oh, by the way, do you guys know what Africa's Talking does? People, Mark and David have been saying 80/80 as if everyone knows what 80 is. Africa's Talking sells telco APIs, and the pain point at that point was, yes, we were building applications, but when you needed to talk to MTN and Airtel to give you a way to send messages to their customers, they would not give you. Or they'll take you through all these KYC processes that Mark has talked about, and you would give up and be like, you know what, MTN, I don't want to use your mobile money APIs. I will just give up on my product, okay? So Africa's Talking made it easy for you to communicate with anyone. So when the business was launching, Eston, who was like one of the founders, came to a space where we were writing our articles from, and he's like, oh, we are looking for a way to launch. So I was the first launcher for Africa's Talking in Uganda. So if you want to know some of my successes, it's the place you're sitting now. Wouldn't exist without me. Okay, I'm kidding. It would exist. But we needed the problem was we needed a way to communicate, okay? Africa's Talking did the integrations. And the thing about this is like 2015, right? 2015, there was no API providers. The other API providers were like big aggregators like Trafrican, who did not really have very good APIs. I'll tell you, like one of our value propositions was our pricing is transparent. You can go on the website and find the price. Most aggregators did not want to show you the price. There's a space here, so you can come in. So like we launched Africa's Talking. I remember our first customer, and our first customer was, we went around, our office was at Kanjacha Street. It wasn't as spacious. It was a cubicle at Hive Collab. For those of you who have been at Hive Collab, you've seen those cubicles. But then we decided to go find customers. Now we had an API that was the best API in the world, in Africa. You could use it, you had transparent pricing, but 0 customers, okay? And our first customer, we literally were walking, would go up Kanjacha Street, I don't know, Kanjacha Street from Hive, go to every NGO, even our competitors, SMS One was on the same street, we would try to sell them, asking people, okay? Oh, we are selling SMS, this is how it works. You can message all your customers. For NGOs would say like, okay, you have all these people that you manage across the country, you can now send them SMS. No one was buying. Our first customer was a guy who had a wedding meeting, who was like, I saw you guys on Google that you can sell SMS. I have a wedding. Can you sell me the SMS for the wedding? And the guy was like, and I have 500K because I have to start sending these messages. If you know Africa's Talking and how it works, we focus on developers, okay? We do not have customer-facing products like for the wedding. But here is someone who has walked in and is like, I have money, you have SMS. And we had to figure out a way to do what? To help him. At that point, I think we used SMS Leopard, something like that, some Kenyan company, to serve this customer so that the 500K would stay with us. And from that day, I think Africa's Talking is doing very well. We can clap for them. So after Africa's Talking, I left 2018, went to Safe Border, and my pitch for Safe Border was like, okay, you guys have like, Michael was there, you guys have like this app that moves people around Kampala. What if I come and I launch a fintech on top? The founders were crazy enough to let me come and launch a fintech. It was a fun ride, left in 2020. We built a lot of things. I will not get into the things that we built. But the difference between Africa's Talking and Safe Border was, for Africa's Talking, we had to look for customer number 1 until we found them. For SafeBorder, when I wanted to launch a product, I had like 200,000 customers who are already using the app every day. I had like 2,000 drivers who are taking them around that I could launch any product to them. So it was a lot easier to launch any product. I wanted to launch an insurance product for drivers. I would call in like 100 drivers if I wanted. They would come, would buy them some small lunch, and would sell them insurance. If I wanted to launch a savings product, the same. So it was like much, much easier. You had to educate, but the barrier was not like there's a starting point. Okay? So there was, it was mine to lose in a nutshell. So, but I was always obsessed with the high mobile money charges. So I decided to leave SafeBorder to start a mobile money startup. In retrospect, it was not a good decision. And I'll tell you why. Because after seeing how, this was my startup, not Wave. I thought like if there's a way we can make mobile money a subscription business so that you pay as if you're paying for Netflix and you can send for free however you want in a month, maybe like there's a lot of customers for this. And you know, like developers, we are dreamers, right? You're like, in your head, you do the math and you're like, I think I can find 100,000 people who can subscribe to a mobile money service. Again, I found out how expensive it is to compete with the telcos. And it's super expensive. Anyway, long story short, I end up in the process of fundraising for that business. Remember, for us to start a business, you have to beg people for money. For our friends who come from the West, they know an uncle, they can go to like some street and they can raise money quickly. Okay? Same thing for white founders. They can get on a flight. And if things fail in Uganda, they've tried something, they can go back to their country and life will go on. Okay? So the starting point is, the point I'm trying to make is, you need money to survive. Whether you're at university right now and you're thinking about an idea, the reason why maybe I didn't continue with Yoza before is also partly because like we were not making enough money. If we were making enough money, I would still be doing the same thing, right? And so we need to find a way to make money from customers. And this is the point where I get back to go-to-market. So how do we, I'm going to attempt, I don't think I'll succeed, but I'm going to attempt to tell you how to go from not having a customer to getting a few customers that are actually paying you. And for you to make a decision that this is something that is actually working. And I think $1 billion is, I haven't done $1 billion for my own products, but for the products of others, I've done multiple billions, okay? So for my products, I've not done $1 billion. That is the caveat. But I think if you can, in a way, build something that is generating good revenue, you can stick with it and you can give it more time, okay? So after SafeBorder and trying to fundraise and I failed, I joined Wave and I launched Wave, was there for 4 years. And how many of you know Wave? Okay, good crowd. Okay, this is good. I am happy. At least some people know it. So Wave Mobile Money is like the lowest cost mobile money. And at Wave, we had like different problems. So I joined Wave. I launched a business in Uganda. I did everything from getting the first customer, being the first call center agent, to being the first person to sell the product, to being the regulatory and compliance lead, to being the general manager, to like I've done everything. Okay, in a startup you have to do everything, but at Wave like went from 0 customers, millions of customers, and a few 100,000 customers. Okay, built a team from me to 400 people full-time, 6,000 people part-time, to scaling it down to like 45 people. So I've seen it all. Like I've seen like how to go from scale back. Okay. But at Wave, I was fortunate that I was not using my money, and so it was much easier for me to like be able to do a lot of things. Learned a lot, and probably I'll share some of the lessons. Anyway, so topic is 0 to 1 billion. So I don't know, how many of you have a product that is in the market with some users? And who wants to volunteer their product to be a guinea pig for this conversation? I already have one. David had one that I already I already added to the slides. So I want to go through 6 things. The first thing I want to go through is like, how do you pick a market? Remember, David told me you need to show how we can go to market. So I thought, go to market. I start with market, and then we can go. Okay, we can go to the market. So we start with like, how do you pick a market? We'll talk about something I think is really important, but less talked about, which is like, how do you pick a use case to focus on? In his case, he picked people who are selling anything on WhatsApp are his customers. So that's his market. And the use case is selling on WhatsApp. We'll talk about frequency, which I also think is like really, really important. And then I'll talk about like a growth system. So retention, acquisition, monetization, how to get started, and some unsolicited advice at the end. So you guys accepted to come, so you'll have to listen to me until the end. So these are 6 things I am going to talk about. So I'll start with the market. There's like very many markets, okay? Remember, like I'm trying to say like, what is the fastest way I can get to a billion shillings in revenue? So this is David's idea. He's trying to sell internet to people. David, actually, it's not your idea. He now doesn't like the idea anymore. But say you're an ISP, you're trying to sell internet to people, okay? There's different ways you can do it. You can sell to people who can pay you 100 million a year, okay? And if you get like big corporate companies that are paying you 100 million a year is like, 8.3 million every month. You will need about 10 of those customers to make 1 billion shillings in revenue, okay? Not so bad, right? We can all find the big guys. We know them, top taxpayers. You go sell to, I don't know why you would be selling MTN internet, but you can sell to a government agency. They can pay you 8.3, right? You can sell to, anyway, big companies. You only need 10 to make 1 billion. That are paying you 100 million a year for you to make 1 billion in revenue. The other way is like you can say, I'm going to find companies like Africa's Talking. Okay? They have people who come in every day to work. And I think they can afford 10 million. Do you all agree Africa's Talking can afford 10 million a year? A year, right? For internet? For internet. Yeah. So that is around like 800,000. Africa's Talking can, surely, you're selling enough API calls to afford. So you can say, I need to find 100 customers like Africa's Talking that can be able to pay me 10 million a year, okay? But the math really, you can boil it down to like a month, like they'll be giving me 800,000. Okay, so I need how much? 100 of them for me to be able to make my 1 billion, okay? You could also say, I am WorkerNet, okay? I am going to find 1,000 homes that are paying me 100,000. No, 1 million, sorry. 1 million is like still 90,000. How many of you are paying home internet? How much are you paying? 130. 120. 140, okay? So, think about it, okay? This company that is selling you at 140,000, 130, 400,000 just needs about 1,000 of you, or 800 of you, of which if they come to your compound, they will sell to like 5-6 people in the same compound, okay? So you try to break down the problem into like chunks that you can take. You say, I will need about 1,000 customers for me to succeed. How hard is it to get 1,000 customers? Is it very hard? It sounds doable, guys. How badly do you want 1 billion shillings? Can you talk to 1,000 customers? If I told you if you get 1,000 people, I'll give you 1 billion shillings. You would get them, right? Okay. So same thing, you know? You just need to get 1,000 people who are giving you. You see, like, it's all perspective. It's like, okay, I don't think I will ever make 1 billion. Some of us have, like, given up. Like, 1 billion, I don't think I'll ever make it. But you can do it, okay? Then the idea that David doesn't want to own is like, where can you find 10,000 people who can give you 100,000? 100,000 is about 1,000 shillings a day, 1,200 thereabout. Okay? Where can you find 10,000 people who can give you how much? 1,000 shillings. How many of you have bought airtime today of 1,000? Okay, all of us. Okay. Hey, some of you don't buy. Okay. So, but you can see, like, you can go to a local market. A local market usually has about, let's say, maximum 2,000, 5,000, 2,000, 5,000, depending on the market. You could say that I can go to, like, let's say, if I'm in a secondary city, you can get about 1,000 people. And so if I'm in 10 cities, I can build a business where people are paying me only 1,000 a day, and I'll be able to build 1 billion shillings business in revenue, okay? I'm not talking about costs, guys. Just let us make the money and spend it. That one is, I'm not also talking about the taxes. And then if you think about this from a perspective of a telco, if you can also, like, say, I want to make 10,000 shillings a year from 100,000 people. Okay? So if you're thinking about your business, let's say it's a WhatsApp, you're selling on WhatsApp, how many shops can you really get to on WhatsApp? How are you going to monetize them for them to give you your billions? Okay? And how many do you need practically for you to make enough money? 1 billion is an example, but enough money. So if you want to find 10 big companies that can pay you 100 million, can also say, like, I'll get 500 that pay me 20, whatever. So this is one way. There's also another way of making 1 billion shillings, okay? You can get a job. Do you want to see the math for a job? So, if you want to make 100 million, and you're a senior manager at a big organization, you have to work about 10 years to get the what?
1 billion.
The 1 billion. And remember, you're spending. So this is not like money you're keeping. If it's an entry-level job, like, you'll have to spend about 100 million, 100 years working if you're making 10 million a year. So, if you're entering a job market right now, my first job was 300, but now I'm saying you make 850 every month, okay? Putting you at 10 million at the end of the what? Yeah. At the end of the year. You will have to work 100 years. To do what? Mark told me to wake you up. Are you still awake or? Okay, this is depressing. If you also want to choose the path of being a startup founder, where you don't make any money, and you can make 1 million a year, if you're not selling your product, you need about 1,000 years. Okay, this is stupid. Like, let us not, like, go there. But ideally, the framework is, where are you going to find? Where are you going to play? Okay. Do you want to play in the, I want fewer users, but charge them a lot of money? Okay? It will take different tactics to get there. It's a lot harder. And you have to be really good at sales. But it is possible. You can get only 10 customers and call it a day. In the job market, you have to be a lot more skilled for you to make that money. So that's the equivalent. You could also say, like, look, I just want 100 people who are paying me 10 million a year. Or I want 500 people who are paying me 2 million a year, whatever it is. The numbers can always move, but ideally you should be saying like, wherever you're playing, you're going to need different tactics, okay? You're going to need different tactics. So I'll come back to you, Seo. You have WhatsApp. You're selling on WhatsApp, okay? So how many shops do you think at scale you can get to? Over 50,000. Okay, so if you're saying like you can get over 50,000, then you need them paying you about 20,000, right? Yeah, you need them paying you about 20,000 a year for you to make your billion, okay? But you should also think about like, how am I going to actually acquire 50,000 customers? 50,000 is a big number, I'll tell you. Okay? So how are you going to acquire them? For any business, you have to like think about like, I can get 10 people, I can get 100, I can get 1,000, I can get 20,000. Then you need like a certain level of investment to now start seeing some escape velocity. Anyway, so that is like on the market. So on the market, you need to try to understand who will give me my billion, how many of those people do I need, and that also informs your pricing. So I'll talk about use case. Now, when you think about, let's say, people who use the internet, you could say there's people in basements in buildings who don't have a good internet connection, and my product is going to provide them with internet, okay? I'll come put like routers in the basements, and so they'll be able to access internet connectivity in the basements of buildings, and I think there's 50,000 of these customers, and I can charge them very well, okay? You could also say, I see a lot of people who are selling on WhatsApp, and those people have a problem which is XYZ, and if I can solve that problem for them, I can get them to be my customers, and then they'll start paying me. So when you're picking a use case, you need to first understand the problem in the words of the customer, not in your words, okay? In the words of the customer. So pick a use case. First find a problem, not a problem you have, a problem users have. And you have to be able to articulate it in the words of those users, okay? So for some of the examples okay, I'll use David. If you're in a basement, in a building, you don't have access to internet. Okay, I'm in a basement, I work in a building downtown, and there's no internet connection in the basement, is what you write here. So your problem, your customer's problem is customers who work in basements of buildings have no access to internet connectivity, okay? That is a problem. In the words of your customer, I want you to make money now. I don't want you to make money later, because later you don't have money to survive on. So as we have seen at the start, you will run out of your money, and then you will end up as a very good developer. You built a very good product, you ran out of money, and you decided to go take a job. Why? Because you need to survive, okay? And to survive, you need money. So I want you to make money from your products today, so that you can continue doing your products. I showed you two paths for making money. You can build a business, get customers, or you can go get a job and spend the rest of your life trying to make other people money. So you need to know who has this problem, and can you reach them, okay? So we know the who, okay? You should have an idea of like the who, and you should be able to find a lot of them, okay? And again, I'll go back to the first slide where you have to know, like, are they going to be 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000? You can go on that scale, okay? And why are these people going to choose you over anyone else? Okay, so you need to know the reason why I should use your product, why I should use WhatsApp instead of Telegram. Okay, why I should use Signal, or why I should use X instead of, Instagram. So you need to know why people are going to choose your product. Okay? So for the ISP in the basement, people are choosing that product because they don't have an alternative. And then they want to be on TikTok because as they wait for customers, they are going to be bored. Okay? For the e-commerce, like they are going to need to sell somewhere. And you're giving them a platform to be able to do that. You need to know exactly why. First, the problem in the words of the customer. Then, who are they and where can you find them? So, for Africa's Talking as a business, I will do Kalango for Africa's Talking. Africa's Talking sells APIs, telco APIs. So if you want to build a USSD application as a developer, we are targeting you. Africa's Talking is targeting you is what I mean. If you want to have some way of sending OTPs when people are logging into your app, you'll use Africa's Talking because they have the best API, okay? So they know who their customers are, and they know developers are going to pick Africa's Talking because the API is very simple to use for developers, okay? You also need to know the alternatives. So what is the alternative to, let's say, an e-commerce that helps people who are selling on WhatsApp? An alternative might just be posting on status. Okay? An alternative to someone selling internet in a basement could just be they have a TV. Okay, so they have a TV, they are not going to be bored the whole day. They are going to watch their TV. Or they have a radio, so they will tune in. Okay? An alternative could also be like they don't do anything. And they will just sleep in their what? They have their Quran, they read their Bible. As they wait for the customers to come. So those are the alternatives, okay? And now, my favorite thing, you also need to know the frequency at which the problem happens, okay? So how many people buy data every day? Show of hands. Some of you are buying every month. Every day data. Okay, monthly bundles. Hey, okay, the market has moved. Weekly bundles. Gaga Friday. Gaga nights. Okay, so you need to know, like, I love frequency because, like, if you understand frequency, you're going to, like, know where to play and where not to play. Frequency is important because it helps you measure retention. And I would say in any business, customer retention is the most important thing. It's actually not acquisition. Retaining those customers is the most important thing. Because if you're getting customers and they're not coming back, you're not going to make money from them. But if they're coming back every day, and exception to your product, it's like maybe people are coming back a lot and they are going to experience the value, and it's just 3 weeks and we are going to find out, okay? So frequency is really, really important. And by frequency, I mean time frequency. Okay? So you buy data every month without fail. You buy data every week without fail. Every night without fail. Because you want to, get access to a bundle for the entire night. Or you use internet in the basement every day. Okay? Or you go on TikTok every day. And so if you don't go on TikTok, you're going to feel some form of anxiety. So if you find 100,000 TikTokers in basements, you can sell them internet. So your problem happens so much that you can have a big market. So the question is, how do you relate to frequency in terms of scale? So you'll find that some people might be experiencing a problem every day. Others experience it once a year. Okay? So I'll use a few examples for this. At a large scale. You may find that, I'll use Wave. Okay? Large scale is millions.
Like many people.
Yes, millions of people. No, like, yeah, so as you go to scale, the product usage goes down. I'll give you an example of mobile money. Mobile money, if you go to a trader, they use mobile money every day. Okay? Or I'll use fishmongers. Fishmongers in Sega Market. Okay? Get fish from Lake Victoria. some of the landing sites, okay? And every day they receive fish, fresh fish, which is going to go bad at the end of the day. So they receive it, they sell it. Okay, when they receive the fish, they send the money for fish using mobile money. They use mobile money every single day, okay? And if you get them, like the way you use mobile money is maybe you're using mobile money to make payments every now and then. But for them, without fail, they use mobile money every day to buy fish and to sell fish. Okay, so they send money, and if you want to find people who use mobile money every day, go to a fish market. Okay? If you go on a weekly basis, let's say people who sell, they are still in business, but businesses that are not fast moving. So fish is fast moving because it goes bad. If you're selling onions and Irish, okay, you buy it on a weekly basis once or twice. So for you, you're going to use a product, mobile money, once or twice in a week. And so you're using on a weekly basis. So you send Irish, let's say I am in Kampala, I'm in Nakawa market. I buy Irish potatoes from Sironko. The supplier in Sironko sends me the Irish potatoes. I send them mobile. Okay, they send me 2 bags a week. Okay, so when they send me these 2 bags a week, I send them 2 times a week. Okay, so in that case, you're sending money on a weekly basis. Or, Michael, I go to Riders on Friday night. I use Airtel Money Pay to make a payment. Okay? But besides that, I don't use mobile money. Maybe once in a while, once in a month, I send to someone money. If you're lucky, you're in wedding groups, you send money every week, especially in December. People are like telling you, you don't like me, why aren't you sending me money? Okay, so the frequency goes up and down, okay? So if I am Wave and I want to build a mobile money alternative, if I want to know whether people like my product, I am going to pick a use case that is frequent enough for me to know whether it is working or not. If I say that 1% is better for customers, am I better off launching in a village where no one uses mobile money every day? Or am I better off launching in Busega market where people use mobile money every single day? And if my value is reducing the cost of sending money, and these are the people that are experiencing the problem the most, because they pay charges every single day. And so if you tell a fishmonger, like, look, I think the problem that you have is you're trying to send money, but you're spending a lot. Is that true that you're spending a lot on mobile money? They tell you yes. So how much do you spend like in a week? I don't calculate that money. Me, I know I need to pay for my fish. I have to pay this money. And then you tell them, you see, every day you send 1 million and you lose about 25,000 in charges. If you use us, 25, you do the math for them. 25 times that is how much? And then you do even times 12 so that they know how much they lose in a year. Okay? And then you tell him, when you use us, you're going to pay only 10,000, 1%, to spend the same amount of money. So it means today I can save you 15,000. You're lying. Then they're like, okay, let's try. Then they send the money. Have you received the money? Hey, let me go buy a beer. The 15,000, they go buy a beer. Okay? So the value is like immediate. So which is why when you're picking problems, you need to pick problems that are happening at least a few times a month. Okay? You can pick a problem that happens once a quarter. That means you also find out in 3 months whether you can make money from this customer. Okay? But if you can make money from some, because we made the 10,000, then the guy tomorrow is like, okay, can I send again even today? So now that customer starts using, and after some time they're like, they start telling their friends, you see, you're losing, you're losing a lot of money using MTN Airtel. This is how much money I'm saving. And now the customer is talking on your behalf. It's like, hey, the same person that you're sending to money, I am also sending to them, but me, I'm sending them on web, you're sending them on MTN Airtel. Okay? But because the problem is happening every single day, okay? Michael, I'm going to get your answer. You can very quickly win a market. So I can go to Sega Market, launch this product, connect all the landing sites, and in like 2 weeks, everyone in Sega Market is using my product. Okay? But now I've hit a ceiling because markets are constrained by the number of people that you can reach. Okay? And now I need to find the next group of customers. But the way you should approach it and market penetration is like, go from very high, intense, like frequency, like daily. Every day I take a safe border. Every day I buy food. Every day I do this. Every day I do this. Okay? If you can find a problem that people are experiencing every day, and you can sell them a product, you're going to smile to the bank. Okay? This is what telcos are doing to us, and they're the top. And beer companies as well. For those of you who drink every day, please don't drink every day. Okay? But you see, like, because you're experiencing the pain points, all these things on a daily basis, very quickly you will know whether your product is working or not, because very quickly you know if people can pay you or not. And when people have a problem, they pay for the problems to go away. Okay? So daily is very good, but daily is limited. There's very few problems that, okay, there are very many, but like, for you to hit one that has no competition is going to be very hard. So if, let's say you find 100 people in Busega market, you can very quickly say, okay, now I need to move on to a much bigger market. And now you're saying, like, which problems occur on a weekly basis? Who are the people that are sending mobile money on a weekly basis that I can find? Okay? Who are the people that are selling on WhatsApp every single week that I can find? If I can find daily ones, focus on those ones. But then you run out of those, find the ones that are doing on a weekly basis. Okay? If you can find, now, like, so for mobile money, the use cases that are weekly, even when you go in a big market. So when you go to secondary cities, or if you go to Nakasero market, or Kalere market, the food markets, people send money every day. Okay? But their frequency is not daily. You have to remember that. If I am buying onions, I know the guy is going to come on this day, so that's the day I need to send money. Okay? If I'm buying tomatoes, it's different. If I'm buying pineapples, it's different. And I'm using mobile money as a problem here. And so you can go to kind of like increase the size of the market you're targeting. You've gone from a market of 100 fishmongers. Now you're in a market of 5,000 people or to 10,000 people, but there are many. And so if you're selling in that market, you have a lot more room. Make sure you're not going beyond a month. I would actually advise against doing things, especially for our startups, that take more than a month for you to find out whether this product is working or not. Please don't work on things. You're not Airbnb where people go and book an accommodation once a year. Airbnb is like once a year use case. For the guest, for the host, it's like monthly. Because people are booking every single month. Okay? So even if like one side of your network can be, let's say, infrequent, you need to find another side of the network that is frequent enough. And when Airbnb is also launching, they have to find conferences. And that is how they launch. Okay? To show that the idea is working. Now, not, imagine like Airbnb launched and they're like, we're targeting everyone in the world. Okay? You have to find and start with like a very high frequency use case, and then you can afford yourself, when you make enough money from people who are using very frequently, you can afford yourself more time to capture the entire market. So to answer Michael's question, mobile money, some people send or receive money. Please come in if you're still outside. Some people come and they peep and it is full, they go back. So for mobile money, friends and family sending is the less infrequent one. Depends for which friends you have and if they're getting married. Then it becomes very frequent. But friends and family is like the less frequent part of mobile money. But that is if you want to go from 1 million users to 20 million users, you have to target a whole different group of customers. And so the way you think about it is like, I will make money from someone who has a problem now and from a frequency that is high enough for me to learn, okay? And for me to make money and learn as fast as I can, and then move on to like less frequent use cases. I have so much content. I think I'm just going to run through most of this. So I'm going to skip this, but I'll talk about it in the next slides, okay? But like what I want you to know that growth is actually a system. Growth is not, for you to make money, you need to first make sure you can retain the money that you make from one customer. Find one customer that you can charge and they get back every single week and they pay you every single week. If you're a software developer, you need to find people, if you're developing websites, you need to find people you can build websites for at a high enough frequency, okay? For you to make enough money. Remember, we want to make our first billion shillings, okay? So you need to make sure that you're not getting one and then after 3 months you're getting another one, okay? You need to get to a point where you have people who are asking you for a website every day. Is that a good problem to have or a bad problem to have? You're saying bad? Yeah, but is it easier to find more developers who can build websites or to find customers who want a website built? Customers. Okay, so we want more customers. We agree, right? We can find developers. We can run a meetup and say, I need 1,000 developers. And they will show up. Okay? So retention, I would say, like, if you're thinking about, I need to acquire customers, I need to charge them some money, and I need to find out. So monetization is like, how do you charge them? How much do you charge them? I would say focus on retention. Retention. Retention is the thing that is going to make or break your business. By retention, I mean you're retaining the customer, they are coming back, and you're making money from them. Okay, so how do you get your first customers? Who has ideas here? I also don't know. How do we get our first customers? How did you get your first customer? Referrals. No, you're number one. Okay? First way to referrals. Referrals, it means I'm using and I refer someone. So like, but your first customer, is the first customer the one who referred, or someone who doesn't use the product is the one who referred? Who uses? Referred. Good. Yes? Friends and family. Okay. What if the friends and family don't have your problem? They have to support you. Okay. I have also elapsed a lot of my friends and family to use my products, but they never retain. They just say, okay, we love you so much. So the other thing I want to talk about, and it's like a very bad mindset, by the way. This is a bad mindset. Bad mindset here. You want to hear the bad mindset? We have, when we build products, we just want to see people using them. Numbers. We like to, you know what they call vanity metrics? Yeah? You know what a vanity metric is? The metric that makes you feel good, but it is useless. You know, one example is, someone has downloaded my app. Vanity metric. Why? Because like, what do you care when people download your app? Which partner? The partner of the user is going to use. So guys, okay? Mindset number one, you need to change from people downloading my app is good. People have my product is good. People paying you is good. Okay? Anyone who is not giving you money, if you're going to live with anything today, make sure you're getting people who are giving you money. Because money means it's going to save you a lot of pain. I'll tell you, I've gone through this pain myself. So I'm trying to save you 10 years of pain. Okay? You will develop the most beautiful app. If people are not using it and paying you, yeah, you will go and your friends will say you're the best, right? You put on LinkedIn, I'm the CEO of App X. Okay? No one is using it. And you know what will happen is like, okay, now 1 year has passed by, you've graduated, you have this app that you have built, no one uses it, it has 1,000 downloads on the Play Store, and you feel good when you see this 1,000 on the Play Store, okay? And now what? Now Mark is going to hire you to come and build apps for him, and he's going to pay you 800,000. Will you accept the 800,000 from Mark? Of course you're going to accept, because you have to what? To survive. And then you'll need how many years to make your billion? You need 1,000, I want 100. You're lucky you need only 100 years. At that point you're 23, 24. Okay? So I'm saying the best way to know whether what you're doing is useful to the world is to have people use it. You know the other thing about building products is having customers that just love you. They see you, they're just happy. Me, I go to Sega Market, they give me fish. And I was in Sega Market 3 years ago. But these guys are like, you saved us so much money. You don't want to get free fish. So, what I want you to do is like, I want you to sell your product to someone who is going to give you, because that is the clearest signal you will ever get in this world that you're working on the right thing. If someone is willing to exchange money, and I'll use you as an example. What did you spend money on today? Food? Why? You have to eat. Okay, did you get value? You're fine. You're alive. What else did you spend money on? So safe border or not safe border? You don't use safe border anymore. Okay, it's okay. So that border guy left his home. He has a wife and kids. Okay? He gave you a service. He moved you from point A to point B, and you rewarded him with cash. If you didn't have cash, what was going to happen? Okay. And you cannot sit on a bike when you don't have the cash. Okay? So the guy agrees with you. I'm taking you to Acacia Place. You're going to pay me 1,000 shillings. Do you accept? Yes. You sit on the bike. Okay? The clear signal this guy has is like that his business of riding a border is working. Is he has 1,000 from you. So if you have gone to school, learned computer science, or you taught yourself from ChatGPT, you know how to write a website. You spend hours and hours and hours. You write the most beautiful website, and no one uses it. Why did they pay your school fees? Okay, you should be able to get money. Anyway, I need to move on. So, we're going to break it down to a few. I just want you to get one customer. One customer, okay? But there's going to be 3 rules for this customer. This customer, you're going to focus on only one use case. By use case, I mean you said you're sending money, okay, at the lowest cost. That is the use case, okay? You said you're making it easy for me to sell on WhatsApp. That is the use case, okay? If possible, find a customer that is using frequent enough, okay? Find someone who is experiencing your problem frequent enough. I would say at least a month. Even a month is a long time, okay? I would say like someone who is experiencing the problem every week, so that if they use this week, you can see if they use next week, okay? So find a use case that is frequent. You have a question? that is frequent enough, okay? Once you find that use case, find one customer, one, okay? And I'm going to tell you what to do with this customer. And then the other thing I want you to do is like, if you pick a frequency that is daily to weekly, you will know next week if this customer can come back, or you will know tomorrow but one if this customer can come back. For this customer, just tell them your use case. Okay, we had a problem at the start when we were defining the use case. We said, I send money. You send money using mobile money. Okay, is that true? The guy will tell you, yes, I send money using mobile money. Okay, so on average, how much do you spend on charges? They tell you I spend about 20,000 a day. Okay, if I gave you this product where you can send for only 8,000, would you like to try it? You would be saving X amount of money. You're not trying to be like a sales guy, what? You're going back and saying like, I think the problem you have is you're trying to send money and you're spending a lot on charges. Okay, I have a solution. I think I have a solution for you. This is a product. You will spend X instead of Y. Okay? Or if you go to the basement, you're like, you're always online when you're home or whatever. Would you like to be online when you're working in the basement or in the building where the network is not very good? Then the guy will tell you, no. Then you move on to the next person and you ask them, I think people in the basement have this problem, okay? They try to access TikTok, but they cannot. Can you access TikTok right now? They say no. TikTok is for when I'm outside the building. So if I helped you access TikTok now, in the building as you're working, do you think it's something you can use? Yes, I can use it. Can you pay me 1,000 to use it? They tell you yes. Okay, now set up the thing. Now you can access TikTok. Can you pay me 1,000? And then tomorrow, does this person keep paying you the 1,000? And the following day, focus on one customer. At least come and say, I have one customer who pays me. Okay? So for your between the first customer and the 10 customers, first find one customer, find one use case. This is a problem you want to solve for them. And this is a problem that your product is already built to solve. Okay? Get that one customer to use it. Once they use it, and try not to be like salesy. Like at this point, you have like, just speak naturally. You have like your passion as a founder, why you started this thing. Just try to explain the problem to them. Get one or two of them, get one of them to use it. And get them to come back. Before they come back, try not to sell to other people. Because if you try to sell to other people, you're going to like have a lot of people who are not getting a very good experience. If then this customer fails because of a certain thing that you learn from them, maybe they're like, oh, actually I don't have this problem. Then you go find another customer who you think has the problem. Repeat this for the first customer until you get to a point where one customer is using your product, okay, and is coming back the way you expect them to come back. So if they are coming back daily, they are coming back daily. If it is weekly, they are coming back weekly. And then and only then can you try to get the next 10 customers, okay? But even for those first 10 customers, worry more about retaining them and not how to do all the other things right, okay? Ideally, what we want is get the first one, just dumb it down to, I am solving one problem for this one person, and I need them to come back. That one person needs to be paying you for you to know that they're actually getting value, okay? Giving them a trial for 1 month doesn't count. Giving them like friends and family who are not coming back doesn't count, okay? The only person that counts is someone who is going to give you money to use your product, okay? So if people have to upload 7 pictures or 7 times before they can get charged, try to charge them on the first one. Okay, you will say, I don't know your product, but if you can charge them on the first one, and you can find a lot of them that you can charge on the first one, do you want that? Or do you want them to first use? Okay? We need to move away from just being people who are building the best apps to actually people who are getting rewarded every time we build an app. People should be using, and you should be getting some of that value. These are things I wish I knew. I started 10 years ago. So I wish I knew these things. The first one was pick one person, pick one use case, and try to make sure I am retaining these people. I mean, you guys are picking a very, very, very hard career. So I would say, things are going to be tough, okay? And you're going to fail a lot. Yes, I have to tell you the truth. You're going to fail a lot. But what I want to say is, like, you have communities like the AT community where you should constantly ask for help, okay? There's things that you're struggling with, other people already have gone through them. So ask for help. Okay? Yeah, I've also been surprised by how many people can very quickly help you. People can very quickly give you money for your ideas, but you don't ask, so they don't know whether you need help. Like I said, we are in the wrong continent, so we need to make sure we are making money from customers and not asking other people to fund our products. But there's a lot of people willing to help. They can help you with your marketing plan. They can help you with a lot of things. Just ask. The other one that I learned that has been very useful is review your startup every day. Going back to frequency, every single day, you should write down and say, what is working? Okay? A few bullet points. So you should have daily notes for your startup X. Daily notes. Okay? This is a Google Doc that you're going to create. The title is? No, this is your startup. Okay. So the name of your startup and then daily notes. Okay? You write the week. Today is week of, this week is what? Started on which day? So 2024. November. What was the first day in this week? What was the date? 11? Okay. So 11. Today is Wednesday. So today you're like, okay. So today you go and say, what is working? You can have like 3 bullet points. If you're serious about your startup, you do this every day. Then what's not working? I find reflecting on your startup can also help you know whether you're making progress. But this exercise is mostly for you to look back maybe a year from now and see how much progress you've made and what changed on the weeks where you had good weeks and what changed on the weeks where you had bad weeks. And it's just an honest way for you to know whether you're directionally moving in the right direction or not. I also have one habit at the end of every week for you to step back and say am I working on the right thing? You need to review and say, am I in the right business? Am I in the right market? So reviewing on a daily, weekly is a good way to keep yourself honest. You can find people that you can share some of these things with, but you need to keep yourself honest. The other one is you're going to meet a lot of challenges. For some of you who have run startups, you've met so many challenges. But you're going to need to learn how to overcome those challenges. Okay? Some challenges you can't overcome, so you make peace. Pray for yourself and say, God, these ones I leave to you. Others you can overcome. Okay? So it also goes back to you're not alone. You can always ask for help. So don't feel like the buck stops with you. Usually is as a founder for the business, but you can always ask for help. And you're also going to figure out ways to overcome these challenges. But you have to be mentally tough, okay? Optimize for personal runway. I mean, this is not good to put here, but I had to put it there because, again, we have responsibilities. When you're just at university, you guys are in the best time to start your businesses because you don't have kids and you have, okay. you still like, maybe your responsibilities, I need to eat, I need to move, okay? Rent. School fees. Okay. So you make sure like you figure out a way of, and this is like why one path that I should not discourage people to take is taking a job. Taking a job can be useful for you to, make some money, save up, and then do the startup, okay? But if you can charge your customers now and you can find the right customers, you will make money and you continue doing your thing, okay? So optimize for personal runway. The same way we think about the business needs to have enough money to last it a certain period of time. Try to make money for yourself so that the people in your life are not feeling the pain of you choosing a hard path. And they are going to feel the pain, okay? Yeah, this one is also like on overcoming challenges related. AI is the last one I wanted to put. I think we are living in one of like the best times to start a business. Okay? I'm sure you've listened to the same YouTube, whatever that I listened to. You've used these tools, okay? You've used ChatGPT and you've seen like how interesting this thing is. I think we need to find, going back to what big businesses right now are so inefficient and these tools can help us build for. And can we actually build tools that we can sell to these guys? I remember like when we were starting Android development in 2013 and building our first apps. At that point, like we didn't know like apps would become a thing. But you could see directionally that everyone was building an app and you learning how to build an app was going to be super useful. And for people in my generation who learned how to build apps, they've done so well. Even when like maybe the startups they're working on are not working, there's companies that are always looking for iOS developers, software, like there's always like a market for Android applications, iOS applications. Now is a different time. Now we all know AI is going to happen. We have all seen how much money is being spent. So we know it's going to happen. And especially for university students in the room, you should be spending a lot of time. Don't build Android applications. Build AI applications. Okay? This is what you should be spending, like, all your projects should be about AI. I saw like a student who cheated on UNEB exams using AI, and they have already started. They were in the news. At least that person did something that made national news. But don't sleep on AI, okay? You guys actually you have enough time to figure these things out, and the next 10 years are going to be defined by the products that you build. So you better be building on AI. Okay, don't be building like Java or like all these things that we used to build on that are not super useful right now for us. Anyway, that's everything I had. If you want to get in touch, yeah, this is me. Thank you, guys. And thank you. I ran over, so I hope it was useful. Show of hands. If this was useful for you, please put up your hand. Hey, even the guy for WhatsApp is put up his hand. So my work here is done. Thank you to Africa's Talking.